I use the Elgato Stream Deck constantly for my streams and video editing. If you want to pick one up from my amazing sponsor Elgato, head to the link down in the description below.
Greetings, Spooky fans! Michael here, and a little over 3 years ago... Oh my god. 3 years ago? Am I getting old? I made a video going over the top 10 never-before-seen Pokemon type combinations that I wanted to see in the upcoming Generation 7 games. As it turns out, 3 of those type combinations ended up being introduced in Pokemon Sun and Moon, so pat myself on the back for that because I was totally responsible for that. But now that Pokemon Sword and Shield have been announced, I wanted to update that video and again go over the 10 never-before-seen Pokemon type combinations that I want to see upcoming Generation 8 Pokemon have. But before we dive into the list, I wanted to go over a bit of an honorable mention section. These are type combinations that do already exist, but I want to see more of since only one Pokemon possesses each of these type combinations. The first is Fire and Electric. Electric is my favorite type, and Fire is my second favorite type. So obviously I want to see the two of them combined together into one incredibly awesome creature. It would just be an amazing, powerful, destructive force of nature, not just an oven. The next is Fire and Steel. They could make some really cool Pokemon with this. Imagine a Pokemon that's primary attacking weapon is blades that glow white hot. Or maybe its body is partially made of molten metal that it can harden on command. I mean, just look at this Delta Aggron from the Pokemon Insurgents fan game. It is incredibly awesome, and I am confident that all sorts of different Fire Steel Pokemon would be extremely cool. At the very least, a lot cooler than Heatran. Next is Ghost Fighting. The only Ghost Fighting type Pokemon right now is Marshadow, and I love Marshadow. I really love the idea of a Pokemon striking with an attack from the shadows. And since I love how Marshadow does that, I want to see more of it. And the final honorable mention type is Dragon Steel. The only Dragon Steel Pokemon right now is Dialga, and I like Dialga, it's cool. But I'd want to see a Dragon type Pokemon that has more of an armored appearance, rather than just being covered in random metal spikes. It'd probably be really strong since Dragon Steel is a fantastic defensive typing, and I think it would work really well with the Galar region since the whole medieval Britain thing of knights fighting dragons being combined together into one Pokemon. It'd make a really cool Gen 8 pseudo-legendary, don't you think? But now on to the main focus of this list, the 10 never-before-seen type combinations that I most want to see in Pokemon Sword and Shield. This list is in no particular order, so might as well start with the type that I want to see the most, Fire and Ice. I love the idea of a singular creature being the combination of two supposedly conflicting or opposite elements or aspects. Volcanion kinda is an example of this with the whole water-fire combo, but honestly, I don't think it's super opposite because hot water exists. Hot ice does not. And don't you dare come to me with links to those how to make hot ice at home fun experiment for the kids videos. No, that is not real ice. That is the formation of sodium acetate that gives off heat because it's an exothermic reaction. That's right. I did my research. I went to college. Back on topic, of all the students in My Hero Academia, I personally think Todoroki has the most interesting powers of wielding fire and ice at the same time. Wouldn't you want to see that in Pokemon form? It would be so extremely cool. And hot at the same time. Yes, I made that joke 3 years ago, but it's very funny, so it deserved to be repeated. Fire and Ice isn't the only opposites in one type combo that I want to see, though, because I also want to see Dark and Fairy. Dark types usually represent bad guys, basically. Cruelty, underhanded tactics, and so forth. Yes, even Umbreon. Meanwhile, Fairy types represent kindness and a general lightheartedness. The two types are definitely opposites, as Xerneas and Yveltal.
My name is Yveltal.
As Xerneas and Yveltal represent. How could they become one? How could a Pokemon be simultaneously cruel and kind. I want to see! Dark and Windy designed this very cool dark and fairy type called Morte, which honestly just looks like a straight up dark type. But its whole thing is acting like a Grim Reaper, appearing next to those about to die and carrying their spirits to the afterlife by holding those spirits in its fur. So it shows up next to dying people, which is definitely a bad omen, but it's actually doing them a kindness by being the courier of their souls to the afterlife. That seems like a pretty logical and pretty cool dark and fairy combination to me. In the same vein as the first two, but not quite, is the next type combo I want to see. Fire and grass. They're not opposites per se, but it'd be really hard to get them to coexist since the fire would just destroy the plant life. Or would it? A great example of fire and grass working together in the non-Pokemon world is the burning bush in the story of Moses. They could definitely make a Pokemon version of that would probably be pretty cool. Another possible concept is that of a Tiki Torch Pokemon, like these by Master Rainbow, or this Alolan Bisharp that I designed a couple years ago that Dark and Windy drew for me. The Tiki Pokemon ship has probably sailed since we just finished Hawaii, but hey, you never know. It's just one idea. They could just combine them together like this without a logical explanation. It would still be cool. The next type combo that I want to see is Poison Steel, and this is actually a type combo that I can't really believe hasn't been done yet. Poisonous injections, whether via a needle or a poison dart or a toxin-laced blade or arrow, are everywhere in movies and TV. You could very easily design a Pokemon that uses its metal blades or spikes or claws or teeth or whatever to inject poison into its enemy. This Pokemon called Bioxic by Smiley Fakemon is a really badass and gnarly example of what a Poison Steel type could be. Pokemon Insurgents also had a buttload of Poison Steel Delta Pokemon, including Luxray, Girafarig, and Heatmor, all of which are pretty cool. I also designed this Poison Steel Alolan Torkoal a while back that's basically a walking metal toxic gas tank, so they could even go with the tank design method too. Another really badass type combination that I am surprised doesn't exist yet is Electric Fighting. Seriously, how are Electivire and Zeraora not electric fighting types? They're both strong physical attackers with electric powers. Man, Zeraora even has an attack called Plasma Fists. How is that not a fighting type? As I mentioned earlier, I love the electric type, and I've always liked the fighting type too. It's probably in my top 5 favorite types. So seeing them combined together into an athletic, kick-ass, physical electric type Pokemon would be extremely cool. Or extremely cute, like Slaplush here. Aw, look at him. Oh, he's so adorable. He slaps you and it's a joy buzzer, so slap and zzz, ah. Oh, it's so cute. The next type combo I want to see is Bug Dragon. Everyone's discussed at some point or another how Flygon could have been a Bug Dragon type, but I want to see a Pokemon fully commit to it. Give me a powerful beast of myth that also has 6 legs, or an armored exoskeleton, or some nasty pincers, or makes delicious dragon honey. Oh, come on, that sounds amazing. Hyvern here is a fantastic example of an awesome Bug Dragon type, as is this Pokemon here by Geo is Evil. Electric Poison is the next type combo that I want to see. And unlike some of the other ones, I do kind of understand why this doesn't exist yet, because the two things don't really have anything to do with each other. And in regards to battle strategy, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You either want to paralyze the opponent, or you want to poison it, since you can't really do both. But it's still really fun to think about in outside of the game battle scenarios. You know, like the Pokemon comes in and it shocks the enemy to immobilize it, and then finishes it off with some nasty poison. That sounds pretty gnarly and pretty cool. I designed this electric poison Alolan Drapion a while back that I personally think is a great example of the potential badassness of this type combo. Just look at those electrically charged poison pincers it's got. God, this thing is crazy, but I love it. After that is Fairy Fighting. And my reasoning for this is kind of the same as it is for Dark Fairy. I want to see a Dark Fairy type Pokemon because I want to see a typically kind type get a cruel side to it. Meanwhile, I want to see a fighting fairy type because I want to see a typically kind type get a punch you in the face side to it. Most fairy types are special attackers, primarily due to the fact that the fairy type has the fewest physical moves of all 18 types. And if there is a physical fairy type, it's not really punching or kicking you. It's just playing rough. I want to see something like Fairygon here, a kind Pokemon that's still super skilled in hand-to-hand combat and will crush you if you mess with someone it cares about. A protective warrior. Sounds really cool, right? The next type combo is Electric Dark. Earlier I mentioned that Electric is my favorite type of all of them, so the fact that I've now covered 3 type combos that include Electric shouldn't really surprise you. Basically, I want a Dark Electric type because I want a nasty, mean Pokemon with electric powers. Maybe even wielding dark electricity abilities of its own. Also, it would open the opportunity for more Black and Electric Blue colored Pokemon, since Black and Electric Blue is probably my favorite color scheme of basically anything. And the final type on this list is Ghost Rock. Think of all the potential there is for some ruin-inhabiting Pokemon that would be Ghost Rock type. Maybe souls that possess the statues within ruins that end up looking like Delta Reuniclus here, or gargoyles that came to life due to the negative emotions of the people who lived in that particular castle. There's plenty of really cool, really creative options for a Ghost Rock type, and I would definitely love to see one. So there we have it. Those are 10 never before seen type combinations that I want to see in Generation 8. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it and want to watch some more of my Pokemon videos, I recommend watching this one here. Alright, that's all I have for now, so till next time, Poke fans, gotta catch them all!